So here, yes. So here, yesterday, so yesterday, what I said is, so okay, yesterday, what I said is, like working with this conditional, so control statements. In the control statements, I said all this here, we have seen conditional operators. And after conditional operators, we started with control statements. And these control statements are classified into different categories. That is a conditional control statements and looping control statements. And one more is a branching statements, right? So what is the need of control statements here? I said control statements are used to control the flow of execution of what program, right? So control statements are classified into three categories. One is a conditional control statements, and second one is looping control statements, and third one is branching statements. I said conditional control statements, and here conditional control statements are used to execute a block of statements based on the condition or what is a test. See, there is a conditional expression and there is a conditional statement. Okay. I said conditional expression returns a value, right? Conditional expression, it evaluates the expression and then return value. But conditional statement doesn't return any value. So if you want to execute a block of statements based on some condition or test. So within this, the first conditional statement is if. Okay, let us see. So there is a conditional control statement. Yes. So there is a conditional control statement called so there is a conditional control statement called if statement. So here if is called what is this here? Conditional control statement, right? What is if is called conditional control statement, and this statement is used to execute block of statements based on condition or test. If you want to execute block of statements based on some condition or test, you are using conditional control statement called if. You are using conditional control statement called if here, right? So there are different types of ifs out there. One is a simple if is a, and second one is if else, and third one is if else, if and else, and next one is nested if. How many types of if statements are there here? Four types. One is called as a simple if, and second one is a if else, and third one is a if else if and else, and fourth one is a nested if, right? So these are different types of if statements. Okay. Suppose if you see first one, which is called as a simple if. So what is simple if is if without else. If without else is called a simple if. If you are writing a if without else is called a simple if. Now this is having only one block. This is having only one block. Which block it is having? If block, but doesn't have which block? Else block. If without else, if without else is called as a simple if. So generally, if you are working with conditional operator, how you write it? You write variable equal to what? Expression one. You write like this, right? Variable equal to expression one, and followed by if there is some condition. Okay, else then you'll try to write what here? Expression two. So variable, this expression one result is assigned to variable. When expression one result is assigned to variable, if the condition is what here? True. If the condition is a true, this expression one result is assigned to variable. If the condition is a false, it will assign expression two result to what? Variable. Expression one result is assigned to a variable if the condition is a true. Expression condition is false, it evaluate expression two and assign what? Way. So this is when you are working with a conditional operator. Okay, this is when you're working with a conditional operator. Suppose if it is a conditional statement, now can you write this conditional operator without else? No. Conditional operator means I have to use if as well as what? Else. I cannot write only if. I cannot write only if without writing which one? Else. But some situations where I may write only if without what? Else. Then I cannot go for conditional operator. I have to go for which one? Conditional statement. Not only that, if the condition is a true, how many statements you are executing here? Only one statement. But I want to execute block of statements. I want to execute what here? Block of statements. For example, if the condition is a true, I want to check one more condition. If this condition is a true, I want to check one more condition. Can I do that? If condition is a true, can I check one more condition here? No. If the condition is a false, then only I can check one more condition. If one condition is a true, then I cannot check what another condition. So here again, if you want, you can write here. But again, here also you can write if else, again you can write it. But it is somewhat complex. But this cannot evaluate what? Multiple expressions. It is evaluate only how many expressions? Only one expression, but this can evaluate what here? Multiple expressions. For example, see here, if without else is called a simple if, and how you are writing, this is a syntax. Whenever you are saying a block, okay, how you write a block? A block generally defined like this. Now this is a syntax. If you are writing like this, if it followed by some condition, if followed by condition, okay, and how you create a block? The block is begin with the colon. How you write a block? The block is begin with what here? Colon. Colon is a beginning of the block. And how you create the block? By giving indentation. What is indentation? Space. What is indentation? Space. And this indentation by default, it takes some 4 spaces. How many spaces it takes here? 4 spaces. Now I'm trying to include number of statements. So there is a statement one. Okay, there is a statement one and there is a statement two. You can include any number of statements. Okay. Suppose here I'm writing statement three. See here, how many statements are there inside the if two statements? But how can you identify that? By using what? Indentation. So how many statements are included inside the if two statements? That is statement one and statement two. What is the statement three is a part of if or outside the if outside the if. But how you are identifying that? You are identifying that by seeing which one here indentation. So can you write number of statements or not? Yes. But is it if is returning any value? No. Conditional statement written, conditional expression written value? Yes. But is it written any value? No. So based on this test, you try to execute number of statements. Okay. Yes. So what will happen here is if condition is true, okay. So PVM what it will do evaluates PVM evaluates statement 1 comma statement 2. After executing statement 1 and statement 2, what will happen? Will it continue the rest of the statements or not? Yes. It will come out of the if and execute what here? Statement 3. And execute statement 3. Suppose if condition is false. If condition is false, so PVM evaluates or execute PVM evaluates or execute. What is that statement? 3. So is it if block is executed or not executed? Not executed. When this if block is executed, if the condition is what? True. If the condition is a false, will it execute this block? No. It just continue with what? Statement 3. If you see the flowchart of this, simple if, okay, it is like this. How the flow is. Now this is a pictorial representation. This is a pictorial representation of this simple if. Now you are writing like this. Now there is a start and it followed by which one here? Condition. So condition or test. So if the condition is a true, so what will happen? It will try to execute. If the condition is a true, so what will happen? It will try to execute number of statements, that is statement 1, and there's one more statement called statement 2. After executing statement 1 and statement 2, it will continue which one? Statement. It will continue which one? Statement 3. It will continue statement 3, statement 1, statement 2, and continue statement 3. And after executing statement 3, so what you are writing here? Stop. Right? So this is when the condition is what here? True. Suppose if the condition is a false. Suppose if the condition is a false. Okay. This condition is a false. Then what will happen? Execute which one? Statement 3. So is the statement 3 is a part of if or outside the if? Outside the if. So it will execute statement 3 when the condition become what here? False. It executes statement 3 when the condition become false here, right? Yes, this is how the flow of this simple if. Okay, so here indentation is there. What is indentation? So in Python, indentations are used to create or to define the blocks. In Python, indentations are used to define the blocks. So sometimes they may ask you like, what is indentation? Frequently asked, what is indent? So what is indent in, sorry. So what is indent in Python? See here. Indentation refers to the space at the beginning of a code line. Where in other programming languages, the indentation in code is for readability only. But in the Python, indentation is very important. Python uses indentation to indicate a block of code. Okay. So Python uses what is indentation? Your question is like this. What is indentation? What is indentation in Python? Okay. What is indentation in Python? So indentation refers. What is indentation in Python? So indentation, see here. Python uses indentation to indicate a block of code. Python uses indentation to indicate a block of code. And not only that, indentation refers here to the space at the beginning of a code line. Okay. Indentation refers the space at the beginning of the code line. You cannot give the space just like that. When you give the space, if you create a block, unnecessarily if you give a space, then it gives what? Error. Okay. For example, see here. And what is the indent? Should Python indent 2 or 4 spaces? I said Python indent refers to how many spaces? 4 spaces. Okay. Python indent. Python indent. Python indent refers to how many spaces? 4 spaces by default. By default, it refers to 4 spaces. For example, see here how this indentation is. Now you cannot give the space. Unnecessarily, you cannot give the space. For example, if I write a space and a equal to 10, then immediately it gives what? Error. If I write a space, and if you write any statement, now this gives what here? Error. It gives an error. So why it gives an error? Because this indentation is not required here. When indentation is required, if you want to create a block, until you don't create a block, you don't require what? Indentation. Okay. So what error it is displayed? Syntax error, because you are given unnecessarily space. Okay. So there should not be space. There should not be any space in each and every line. But when there should be a space, when you are writing a block, suppose I'm saying if some 10 is greater than 5. So is it a conditional statement or conditional operator? Conditional statement. Is a block or not? Yes. And block is begin with what? Colon. And how you create a block? You can create a block by giving what here? Indentation. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many spaces are given by default? 4. So 10 is greater than 5. I'm just writing a print. What is that? Python. Okay, print Python now. So how many statement? Now after this, again I move the cursor to the beginning and I'm saying print what is it? Some Java. So I just print what here? Java. So now how many statements are there inside the if? One statement. Is it the statement is within the if or outside? Outside. But how can you identify that? By saying what here? Indentation. So all the statements within the block should be in the same indentation level. All the statements within the block should be same indentation level, right? So is it this condition is a true or false? True. Then it will print what here? Python. And then come out of this and print what? Java. So what is the output I'll get? Python and Java. Suppose if I'm writing like this. Suppose if I'm writing 10, suppose 10 is greater than 20, I just write print some C++. Okay. Then I said print, what is that here? C. Now is it this condition is a true or false? False. If it is a false, will it execute if block? No. Then it will come out of this and continue which one? C. So what will happen here? Will it print C or not? Yes. So if I run this, what is the output I'll get? Python, Java. So this is Python and this is what? Java, because this condition is a true or false? True. This condition is a true or false? False. Then it will print the C language, right? Suppose if I'm writing if 10 is greater than 5, 10 is greater than 5, I just write here Jaitan. Is it this condition is a true or false? True. But are you included any statements? Is it this Jaitan? Is it this print Jaitan statement is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if. To include this statement within the if, I have to change what? Indentation. I have to give the indentation or not? Yes. But here, are you given any indentation? No. It means, is it block is defined or not defined? Not defined. Means, is it this if is empty or not? Yes. This if is what here? Empty. Because to include the statement, I have to change what? Indentation. Now, is it this statement is within the if or outside the if? Within the if. Suppose if I don't give the indentation, is it this statement is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if. Outside the if. So what will happen if I run this? Immediately it is given what? Syntax error, saying that expected an indented block after if statement on line number 11. Can you display the line numbers? Yes. So go to the options and show line numbers. So it will show you which one here? Line numbers. Okay. So in which line error you can find out that. Just go to options and show line numbers. Okay. If I want to hide it, I can hide it. If I want to show it, then I just write show line numbers. So there is an error. Now if I run this, there is an error. Expected an indented block after if statement on line number 11. Means is it empty blocks are allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Whenever you are saying a block, the block must have how many statements? One statement. At least one statement should be there. If you don't write any statement, then it gives what? Error, saying that expected an indented block. So every block must have at least one statement. Now in this case, it is displayed Python, Java, C, and one more is what? Jaitan. Because is it the statement is within the if or outside the if? Within the if. Suppose within the block, I write again I just write here I run Python, right? So is it this condition is a true or not? Yes. So it will print what here? Python. Is it and then print Java? Is it this condition is a true or false? False. It will print what? C language. Is it this condition is a true or false? True. It will print what? Jaitan. And then what? But is it this both the statements are at same level or different level? Different level. Then it gives what? Error. Then it gives what here? Error. So because whatever statements you are writing inside the block, those statements must be at same level. Those statements must be same indentation level. But is it the statements are at same indentation level? No. The statements are not at the same indentation level. Okay. So this statement is at one level and this statement is at what? Another. So what will happen if I run this? Okay. Again, now there is a error. Which error it is? Syntax error, saying that unexpected word indent. So as a Python developer, you have to think about these indentations, right? So whatever statements you include within the if, all the statements must be at what? Same level, but not at the different level. Now this statement is at one level and this statement is at what? Another level. But both the statements must be at the same level. See, now will it give any error? No. So there is a Jaitan and there is what here? I run Python. So you have to, whenever you write the code, you have to think about all these things, right? So indentation is very important. If you don't follow this indentation properly, if indentation is not done properly, then it leads to which errors? Syntax errors. Okay, if indentation is not given properly, then it leads to a syntax error. Okay. And you cannot write empty blocks. If you want to write an empty blocks in Python, okay, you just include one statement. You just include one statement called pass. You just include one statement called which one? Pass. Pass means do nothing, right? So don't do anything or do nothing, that you call it as which one? Pass. For example, in application development, what will happen is in projects, when you develop a project, what will happen is, okay, you try to write some conditions. You try to write some conditions and you want to include the code later. You define all the conditions, but you want to include the code later. Okay, but still you want to execute your program. You want to include the statements later, but still I want to execute my program. Still I want to execute my program. Can I execute now? No. Because is it this block is empty or not? Yes. Can I execute? No. If I run this code, what will happen? It will try to give the error or not? Yes. It will try to give the error. What is it? Expected and intended block after if statement on line number 1. Because empty blocks are allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. But I want to write empty block. I want to write empty block. Empty block means I want to write a block and that block should not perform any operation. I want to write a block and that block should not perform any operation. Then inside that block, I just include one statement. And what is a statement? Pass. So pass means what here? Null operation. So if the condition is a true, is it doing any operation? No. Null means this is called as which block? Empty block. So indirectly you are writing an empty block by just including one statement called which one? Pass. So that still your program get executed or not? Yes. So if the condition is a true, are you doing anything? No. So later what you do it? You just remove this pass and include your logic. So debugging purpose, it might be used for what? Debugging purpose, right? If the condition is a true, are you doing any operation here? No, you're not doing any operation, just including one statement called which one? Pass. Pass means do nothing, right? Here pass means what here? Do nothing. So pass is a keyword. Here pass is a keyword. Pass is a keyword actually. It is a keyword. Okay. So this keyword, now this keyword is used to represent what here? Empty blocks. Empty blocks in what here? Python. Okay. Empty blocks in Python. Now this pass keyword, this pass keyword represent which operation? Null operation. This represent which operation? Null operation or do nothing operation. Okay, null operation or do nothing operation. So it will not do any operation if you include the pass. You want to write empty function. Suppose you want to write one empty function. How can you write empty function? Because function is a block. Can you write empty block? No. How can you write empty block? By including pass. Empty function, empty while, empty for, empty if, empty else. You can write it by just including which statement? Pass statement. This is also frequently asked question. What is Python? What is pass? What is pass in Python? See here. What is pass statement in Python? The pass statement is used to placeholder for future code. That is what I said. Future code means now I want to write condition. Okay. Now I want to include the code later. I write so many conditions, but I don't want to write the code inside that. Inside the block, I don't want to write the code. I want to write code later. I want to include the code later. Okay. But still I want to execute my program. Means I should write which blocks? Empty blocks. Future I want to include the code, but now I want to execute my program. Okay, then what do you do it? You just include one statement called pass. So the pass statement is used as a placeholder for future code. When the pass statement is executed, nothing happens. But you avoid getting an error when empty code is not allowed, right? So empty code is not allowed in loops, function definitions. Class, just now I said empty function, empty loop, okay, empty for loop, empty while loop, empty else block, okay, empty class, empty blocks are not allowed. That leads to which error? Syntax error. To avoid that, you just include which statement? Pass statement. So this is one definition. Okay, I just put this also here, right? So now this is one more definition of pass here, but it is not a good practice to write multiple pass statements within the block. Either you write pass one time or two times. Will it do anything? No. So nothing, right? Do nothing. Do nothing is called as which one? Pass. If I write pass and pass, is it any meaning is there? No. There's no meaning, right? Either you write pass one time or two times. Okay. Will it do any operation? No. Getting on. So generally you write how many pass statements within a block? Only one. So it is empty. But when you say empty and if you write anything, right? Okay, suppose you said empty, but you write what? Hello. Is it programmatical point of view? Is it allowed or not allowed? Not allowed generally. You said empty, right? Empty means you should not have anything. Okay, it's just like you'll say that, okay, one box is there. You'll say empty box. But if you open, something is there. Yes or no? You said it is empty, but you include some item inside that. So is it valid or invalid? Invalid, right? So when you say pass, then you should not include any other statement. You should not include any statement. You want to include statement, then just remove which one? Pass. If you write a pass, then don't include any statement because you are saying it is empty, right? You are saying it is empty and you said empty, but you also included one statement. What is the statement you included? Hello. You said empty, but you included one statement. So logical, it is not allowed. Syntax wise, it is allowed, but logical, it is not allowed. So is it this condition is a true or not? Yes. Then you said pass means don't do anything, but you said do print hello. You said don't do anything, but again you said what? Print hello. But is it valid logic here? No, this is not valid logic. This is what here? Invalid. So when you are saying empty, keep it what? Empty only. And if you want to include any statement, remove the pass and include statements. If you want to include the statements, just remove the pass and include whatever statements you want to include it, right? So that is what you have to follow when you're working with the pass here. Now, empty blocks are not allowed, but if you want to create an empty block, you just include one statement. So what is that statement you include is pass statement, right? You include one statement and that statement is called as a pass, right? So this is a first syntax. What is the first syntax? Simple if, that is if without else. Means it is having only one block. Which block is there? True block, but doesn't have which block? Else block. Else means false block. Okay. Now if you want to write both, then you go for if and else. If else is there. So there is one more if and then one more is a else. If else statement. So there are different syntaxes are there. Now this syntax, okay, this is syntax is having if a block and if a block is there and one more is what? Else block. The syntax is having if block and else block. Two blocks out there. So this is a syntax here. If so there is some condition and block is begin with what here? Colon, right? And inside the block, Including statements is done by giving indentation. Including statements are done by giving what here? Indentation. So this is which block? If block, and this if followed by which one? Else. So you should not write else within the if. You should not write like this. You should not write like this. Now if followed by, so indentation must be in the same level here. There should not be any space. There should not be any space here, right? So this is what here if and then followed by which one? Else. And then include number of statements here. That is statement 3 and one more is what here? Statement 4. So in if block, how many statements are included? 2 statements. And in else block, how many statements are included? 2 statements. Then after that, I just write here statement. Is a statement 5 is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if. It is not within the if. This is what here outside the if. So if else, see all these statements are at which level? Same level. But these are the statements within the if, and these are the statements within the else. So if condition is true, if condition is true, now what will happen? PVM. So PVM execute. What it execute? Statement 1, comma, statement 2. Because how many statements are there in if? 2 statements. And then continue with what? Statement 5. If condition is true, PVM execute statement 1, statement 2, and continue with what here? Statement 5. Suppose if condition is false, if this condition is false, then it will come to which block? Else block. See, else is also block, and block is begin with what? Colon. And how you create a block? By using indentation, right? So if the condition is a false, PVM execute. What it execute? Statement 3, comma, statement 4, and continue with what? Statement 5. Because is this statement 5 within this condition here? No, it's not within the condition. Now, if the condition is a true, PVM execute statement 1, statement 2, and continue with statement 5. If the condition is a false, PVM execute statement 3, statement 4, and continue with what? Statement 5. So it is like this. For example, see here. So what will happen here is, so there is a start here. So then you are writing so after this you are writing one condition here. So if the condition is suppose if the condition is what here? True. So this is having 2 blocks now. So if the condition is if the condition is a true, so this is if the condition is true, and this is if the condition is what here? False. So if the condition is a true, you are executing some block of statements here. So what is that here? Statement 1 and then statement 2. Suppose if the condition is a false, okay, if the condition is a false, you are executing statement 3 and statement 4. So after executing these statements, statement 1, statement 2, okay, you are trying to continue with rest of the statements. and that is what your statement 5. So you can say this is a if block. One is a if block and one more is what? Else block. Okay, so after executing this block, it continues with statement 5, and after executing else block also it will continue what here? Statement 5. So after this, there is a stop. Okay, so this is a flow here. Okay, this is a flow of execution here. So this is a true block, and this is a true block, and this is a else block, this is a if block, this is else block. After executing if block, it executes statement 5. After executing else block, it execute what? Statement 5, and then it will stop, right? Yeah, this is how the flow is. For example, suppose, for example, write a program. Suppose write a program to find input number is even or odd. Write a program to find input number is write a program to find input number is even or odd. Okay, so what is the logic for this? Okay, what is the logic for this program to find input number is even number or odd number here? Yeah, tell me what is the logic for this here? The logic for this is, yeah, indentation level of if and else must be in the same. It should not be different levels. It should be at the same level. No, we cannot write like that. Generally, people will write like this. Okay, suppose number is entered, input, enter any number. Then you'll write like this. If suppose, how can you find out whether number is even or odd? By dividing with the 2. So remainder equal to number mod 2. If the number is divisible with 2, what is the remainder will be 0. Otherwise, remainder is not a 0. Then I'll write if remainder equal to 0 colon. So can I continue and write here saying that the number is which one? Even. Can I continue and write else colon? Can I say print? What is this here? Odd. I write everything in one line only. I write everything in what? One line. But instead of writing multiple lines. Okay. I write everything in one line instead of writing multiple lines. But what happened? Is it given error or not? Yes. Which error it is? Syntax error. So I must divide this, right? Now if I give a space, now I just give a space, even though it is given what? Error. So when you are saying it is a block means it must be divided, right? So it must be defined as a structure. It is having one structure, right? Now, if and else must be at the same level. If and else must be at what here? Same level. Suppose I'm writing like this. If print even, if the remainder equal to 0, you said here print even. Otherwise, you are trying to say print which number? Odd number. Now, once I run this, okay, once I run this, it is asking enter number 4. 4 mod 2 remainder is what? 0. Is it 0 equal to 0? Yes. So double equal is for what? Comparison. Then it will print what here? Even. Else it will print what? Odd. But now it is will print what? Even. Right? So once I run this again, now this time my number is what here? 5. Is it 5 mod 2? What is the remainder? 1. Is it 1 is equal to 0? No. Then it will come to which one? Else. And print a message. What is the message? Odd. Getting on not? Okay. So based on the condition, suppose can I write everything in one statement like if and this is what here else. I write like this. Now this is if and this is what here else. Now if I run this, now is it this is allowed or not allowed? Allowed. Okay, this is allowed because in else how many statements are there? One statement. In if how many statements are there? One statement. Then I don't require to write one block. If multiple statements are there, then you have to create one block. If multiple statements are there, then you have to create the block. Suppose in if 100 statements are there, will write 100 statements in one line? No. You have to write one block. In else some 20 statements are there. Can you write 20 statements in one line? No. You have to create a block and include how many statements? More than one statement. You have to include more than one statement, right? Yes. You have to include more than one statement. Yeah, you have to understand this. Yeah, just try to understand this here. More than one statement should be included, right? Yes. Now, these are simple logical programs which are helpful in building your programming skills, right? Yeah, you can write like that also. If number mod 2 double equal to 0, yes, no problem. You can write like that also, no problem. So there's no rule like you have to write. Yes, first you find the remainder. And if the remainder is 0, or you can write number mod 2 double equal to 0. Even that also you can write to reduce the code. How you can write? Instead of writing this statement, you can just delete this statement and you can write number mod 2 double equal to 0. Right? So if the remainder, first it evaluates this and compare with what? 0. If it is 0, then you'll print even, otherwise you'll print which one? Odd. For example, see here, yes. Now these are some questions here. Just see, some 70 questions are there here. Suppose name the keyword. See here, name the keyword which helps in writing code involves which one condition. Name the keyword which helps in writing code involves which one condition. Which keyword is involved in writing a condition? If. Which keyword is involved in condition? If, right? So write the syntax of simple if. Simple if is having only if block without else or not. Yes. So you are writing if condition and followed by which one? Colon, and execute the statements. Is there any limit of state? Is it any limit of statement that can be appear under if block? No. So there is no limit of this. There's no limit, right? You can write any number of statements within what if. There's no limitation, right? So write a program to check whether person is eligible for voting or not. So accept the age from where user. Write a program. See here, write a program. Now all these are questions, right? Simple questions. Now write a program. It's a simple thing. Write a program to check. Write a program to check a person is eligible to voting or not. A person is eligible eligible to vote or not. Okay. So input name and age from keyboard. Input name and age from where? Keyboard. Input name and age from the keyboard. So write a program to find, to check a person is eligible to vote. Is it person is eligible to vote or not? Input name and age from where? Keyboard, right? Input name and age from the keyboard, right? So how you do this? Now first you have to input what? Name. So input, okay. So I just write enter name. Second, I have to input what? Age. So then I'm writing enter age. Input name of the person. Input the name of the person and then input what here? Age of the person. Okay. You are trying to input the name and you are trying to input what? Age. After that, what is my condition? If age is greater than or equal to 18. Okay. So here I'll write print format and I just write here name. Format name. Name is what? Is eligible. Is eligible to what? What? So here I am replacing with the value. This field is replaced with what here? Name, right? So if age is not greater than or equal to 18, then come to which block? Else block. And here you will write format. So name is not eligible to what? What? So one is eligible to what and one more is, now this is if a block and this is what here? Else block.
Recording stopped.